turn the corner and stop there at the T.
36.
Right. Okay, and then go to the last one over here.
43.
How about we call it 40 feet? Again, it's arbitrary where we place stuff. We'll call it 40 feet to the bathroom, when we'll say that's true for each of the twigs at the moment. Is that okay? It's a little bit shorter here and a little longer here, but it won't matter for the basic discussion. So, at 40 feet, how many cups is that? That's a gallon. The minimum weight in this bathroom will be 1 gallon. Our research shows that at typical fixture flow rates of 2 GPM, it'll be about 1.5 gallons will come out before hot water gets here. And if you go to 1 gallon per minute, guess what? It's going to more than double the volume in the pipe. So not only did you waste more water at lower flow rates, you wasted more energy because you had to heat that extra water too. All right? It's a real problem. So we now have at least 1 gallon's going to come out before we get hot water here. And at 2 gallons per minute, how long is that going to take? Half a minute. At 1 gallon per minute, it's going to take at least 2 minutes. Okay? Because 2 gallons is going to come out. It's a real problem. So 2 minutes. It's going to grow rather dramatically in time. It's not a half a minute. It grows to almost double. Triple. Fair enough? That's the problem that we face in hot water distribution systems, is how do you get the hot water efficiently from there to there? All right. I need 5 more volunteers. Give these guys a hand. This is great. Come on, I need 5 volunteers. Come on up. Come on, come on, come on. If we don't get it done, we're not leaving. Come on. Middle table. Come on. Come on. It's okay. I promise not to bite. This is fun. That's great. Wonderful. You have been hired to fix this system. What are you going to do?
Rip it out.
Cool. Before you rip it out, has anybody here ever heard of a circ loop? Cool. Could you pipe this house with a circ loop without too much trouble? How would you do it? From the last fixture back to the water heater, you'd run pipe. What diameter pipe?
3/4.
Good answer. Here. Get a friend and do it. No, it's from the trunk. You're going to be up in the ceiling. You're going to use the trunk line. And you've got to get back. Oh, wait. I don't want to have to figure out where my plumbing goes, so I want you to turn the corner and follow the pipe back, please. You can just go here, come out about 1 foot. No, you've got to come out about 1 foot and then turn the corner and go back. You can move that. It's okay. All right? You know, has anybody ever tried to repair stuff and couldn't find the things that needed repair because somebody moved them? They hid them over there. I'm a firm believer in making future maintenance easy. So if you've got pipes running in a stud bay, keep the stud bay. If you've got room, run them there, right? Oh, did we run out of pipe? Oh, we need a...
What's on the truck?
What's on the truck? I got more 3/4 inch. We're good. Here you go. More 3/4. And end up back there. All right? So we could put a circ loop in. He needs help. Hold that down for him. It helps. It goes quicker. And we're going to put a circ loop in. Here's a pump that currently is going to be representative of any circulation pump. Fair enough? It's a particular type. We'll discuss that in a minute. But right now, it's anybody's circ pump. Fair enough? All right. Where are you going to put the pump? Where do you want to put the pump? You want to put it over here? Do you want to put it over there? Where would you like to put it? How many vote to put it over here where, right after the last fixture? How many vote to put it near the water heater? Come on, traditional plumbers got to put it near the water heater. We're going to start over here. We'll move it. Promise. All right, it's a standard circ pump. How many hours a day is a circ pump going to run? The minute you tell it. Okay, that's a different kind of circ pump. So, what do you think? Should we run it 24/7? I'm just asking, what are we going to do? If I'd asked this question of a traditional plumber 5 years ago, 6 years ago, the answer would be, put it in, run it 24/7, pray it doesn't break very often. Right? Anybody have one of those? 24/7 hot water distribution systems get expensive in energy terms, don't they? Okay? How expensive? if you run a standard circ loop at 1 gallon per minute, which is a pretty typical flow number, and you get over the distance a 5-degree temperature drop, okay? What do you think the temperature drop over about 80 feet of pipe would be? 5 degrees? 10 degrees? What do you think? 5, 10 degrees, right? Easy. We'll call it 5. You'd end up using 300 therms a year to keep the water warm in the loop. Do you know how much energy people use on average for their hot water use? Assuming 60 gallons of hot water coming from the water heater every day? About $300, less than $300 a year, including running water down the drain, which this is supposed to solve. So putting a 24/7 circ loop in just doubled your cost of water heating. That doesn't meet the criteria of using less energy than running the water down the drain, does it? Okay, so we're going to use a timer. How about a timer? Anybody used a timer on a system before? Anybody had a power failure? How about daylight savings time? You got to go adjust it, right? It needs adjusting. How many hours a day are you going to pick? What's your typical daily routine? Get up in the morning, get ready for work, go to work, come home several hours later, get ready to have dinner, cook dinner, go to bed. Right, okay. How many hours a day did you actually use hot water? Max an hour. Do the math with me for a minute. If you use 60 gallons of hot water on average in a day, which is a pretty good number, and you use it at a gallon a minute, that'd be 1 hour a day, wouldn't it? That's the stuff coming out of the water heater, right? If you use it at 2 gallons, maybe 30 minutes. What do you think? The number's somewhere in the middle? So, and 1 hour a day max, but it's spread over 24, many of which are not at home. There are windows of use of hot water. Morning rush hour, evening plateau is pretty typical. So people often with timers pick morning rush hour, evening plateau. Perfectly rational behavior on their part. The problem is they've just decided to run their pump 6 to 8 hours a day. They're not home on the middle of the week. They're home on weekends. What happens at noon on the weekends? You run the water down the drain. It'll get there. It just runs water down the drain. So it didn't provide the level of convenience one wanted exactly, did it? All right. Now, that's running the whole loop. What if we took the, go grab the pump and bring it over here, please. And we put the pump over here somehow, back at the furthest fixture. I'm still using a dedicated return line to bring the water back to the water heater. That's fine, right? But what have I done for the temperature drop? I could figure out how to tell this pump to shut off when it was hot here rather than back there, wouldn't I? I just cut my temperature drop in half, didn't I? That's a good deal. I just cut my energy loss in half by doing the same thing. All right? But I got to tell the pump to shut off, so I can't run 24/7 and I don't want to do a timer. What's the other choice? You have to use demand or a switch, something that tells it to turn off when there's hot water. Okay? I'm a real big fan of on-demand pumping because it only operates when you tell it to. What's your routine now when you decide to take a shower? Well, you have one of these things, but if you didn't have one of these things before you got the pump, all right, what's the routine like? Does anybody do the following? You get out of bed, you go over to the shower, you turn on the shower valve, you walk around the house for a little while, you get undressed eventually, and you show up and, oh, it's not hot, yes, you leave. Anybody ever done this before? You had 2 or 3 minutes. What did you do during your routine? I used to have time to make coffee. Okay, brush your teeth, take the dog for a walk, and when you come back, is there sometimes steam in the bathroom? When did the hot water get there? A long time before you did, and you don't know. That's the problem with this. There's 2 kinds of waste and weight. There's behavioral waste, and there's structural waste. Structural waste is what we put in when we put the piping in a certain way. Behavioral waste is what people do with it. Our experience tells us that if you wait more than about 10 to 15 seconds, you leave. And you come back when you're ready. Or you brush your teeth, or you walk the dog, or you make coffee, or whatever it is you do, and you show up. And if you show up when steam is coming, you missed the time when the hot water got there by a lot. Okay? So you actually have a behavioral waste above and beyond the structural waste.